Episode 35, The Fourth Box. That night, Kai dreamed that she was standing in front of an old door, on which was engraved a name, Van. The wind blew through the crack in the door, and it sounded like someone was whispering, "It's time." The inn woke up in the mist. The innkeeper hung a small silver bell on the porch. The bell rang irregularly, like someone's heart. Beating. Kai found Van in the backyard. She was planting dried dandelions. As if replanting the past, I remember. Kai said, "The fourth box, it was under my bed. Locked with a black ribbon." Van smiled, a smile as thin as spider silk, but as solid as rock. "We will open it, but remember, this box contains more than just your memories. It also contains the way you forgot." Kai bent down, her hands shaking. Slightly, the black ribbon seemed to breathe. Every time she touched it, it let out a broken wind sound. Van put her hand on Kai's shoulder. "When you open it, don't resist. The memory doesn't come to harm you. It just wants to look you straight in the eye." The box popped open. The stale smell poured out like the dust of time. Inside was a red cassette player and a faded tape recorder. Kai choked. It was her father's voice, the voice of a dead man, but here as vivid as yesterday. "Hello, my little princess." His voice rang out, warm, slow. There was soft music in the background, a lullaby from when Kai was 3. "I know that one day you will grow up without me by your side." So I wrote down a little bit of myself for the days when you feel empty, cold, and no one understands. Kai cried, not loudly, not violently, just tears flowing from a crack that had been sealed. "Thank you," she sobbed, "because you didn't let me forget everything. Thank you, Van, for taking me back to the dream I had hidden the best." Van gently put away the box. "Every memory is a part of the map. Open them all, and you will know where you have gone astray." Kai nodded. "I will continue. No more avoiding." The silver bell on the porch rang out a clear, resolute ring. In the wind, it seemed as if someone was whispering, "Daddy's daughter has grown up." Episode 36, The Fifth Box, What No One Knows. The inn was shrouded in cold mist. Kai sat in room number 4, the red cassette still on the old wooden table. But her eyes were elsewhere, where the fifth box was waiting to be opened. "This box doesn't have a lock," Kai said. "It just has a small mirror stuck to the outside of the lid. Every time I look in, I avert my eyes." Van was not there. She left a note. "This is your own journey. Each person can only open this box alone." Kai looked at herself in the mirror. What she saw was not her current face, but her face at the age of 15, skinny. Dark eyes, mouth pressed tightly together, because she had learned to swallow all the pain inside. The box opened. By itself, inside was a diary. The first page was written in purple ink in slanted letters. "No one knows, and I won't tell. I once thought about disappearing, not because I was weak, but because no one needed me to be strong anymore. The day my mother told me, 'You must live a life worthy of the people who raised you,' I didn't know whether to laugh or cry." Kai paused. Her hands shook. The next page was soaked with water, the words blurred like a lie once written, and then wanted to be erased forever. I thought no one would read it. Kai whispered, "I didn't die that year, but I also don't live anymore." The wind blew through the window, and a small piece of paper fell out from the last page. "If one day you are still alive, please spare yourself from Kai to Kai." The box made a clicking sound. The bottom opened, revealing a paper butterfly, yellow, thin, like an apology folded from all the mist springs. Kai placed the paper butterfly on her palm. It fluttered away in the blink of an eye. carrying with it things that no one knew and no longer needed to be hidden. The silver bell on the porch rang for the third time that night. Van turned back. Her eyes asked nothing, just smiled. Welcome back to another part of yourself. Episode 37, Swept Away Memories. The storm came at midnight. The thunder did not strike the sky, but struck the heart. The inn seemed to tremble with each gust of wind, thunderous, sharp, unforgiving. Kai stood in the room, still clutching the paper butterfly, but the wind blew through the crack in the door, and it was blown away through the hallway, up the stairs, gone, no. Kai rushed after it, but each step seemed to sink into the mud of memories outside. The rain poured down. Water flooded into the inn, as if it were pouring into the past, tearing away layers of memories Kai had just gathered. A strange whirlwind appeared in the middle of the yard. It did not sweep away the trees, nor the roof tiles. It only swept away memories. Kai fell to her knees. She heard Van calling, but the sound was faint, as if coming from the bottom of a well. Kai's mind was now blank, with only one image left. The bicycle, broken handlebars, lay on the side of the road. One shoe was thrown off. The other was covered in blood, and the eyes of a dying man, Dad. But she couldn't remember anything else. When the storm passed, the sky was still gray, but eerily silent. Kai woke up in room number 7. Her clothes were dry, but her mind empty. On the table, there was only a puzzle piece left, half of a man's face, and a small line of text at the bottom of the photo. The truth doesn't disappear. It just hides until you're ready. Van walked in and put her hand on Kai's shoulder. The storm took a piece of me, but it left a clue. This piece is not from my memory. It is from someone else's memory, someone who witnessed my father's death. Kai looked up. Tears did not fall, only her eyes, like knives piercing deep into the fog of lies. I want to meet that person, Van nodded. The next journey will not be about healing, it will be about facing. Nice choice, Kai. We start with Van, the key holder of memories. The story that follows will be like an old film, blurred with smoke and scent smell, wind chimes, and pieces of your forgotten childhood. Episode 38, The Memory Keeper. Kai came to an old house, hidden down a narrow alley, where light was cut off by the foliage of the mahogany trees, and the windows had peeling paint. Van stood waiting on the porch, holding a small black box in his hand. And here is something I forgot, from a past life or some dream. Kai took it, slowly opening it. Inside was a broken-toothed plastic comb, a piece of cloth with a scorched corner, and a half-torn bus ticket. None of it was worth much, but her heart suddenly tightened. Van took Kai into the back room, where the walls were covered with photos of no one smiling. Only their eyes were strangely alive. In the middle of the room, an old projector started playing. Each fragment of memory appeared vaguely. Kai's childhood, the roof during the storm, the stray dog named Simoy, the call for her mother in the middle of the night, with no one answering. You survived, but to live on, you need to remember, not to suffer more, but to understand why you are so strong. Van didn't stay long. When the projector stopped, he left Kai a blank notebook, the leather cover engraved with the words, "Write down the things you thought you lost." And so Kai began to write, one page at a time. Every night, one memory, one step forward. The old things now become fuel for the new journey. Episode 39, the first pages. Page 1, the dirt road and the sandals. That day, the road home was twice as long when it rained. Mud wrapped around Kai's sandals, and each step she took, the sandals sank in. One day, the sandals broke, and Kai walked barefoot, the solace of her feet touching the soft ground, and she felt as if she could touch her loneliness. But little Kai kept walking without crying, just breathing deeply and telling herself, "It's almost there. It's almost there." Page 2, fan noise and summer power outage. Every summer, the small room had no air conditioning. Kai lay fanning herself, listening to the electric fan make a clacking sound like an old man panting one day. When the power went out, the whole family lit kerosene lamps, and shadows danced on the walls. Mom told ghost stories. Dad played pranks on her. Kai was scared, but still laughed because that was the only night. The whole family sat together. No one watched the TV. No one complained about being tired. Page 3, the unsent letter. Kai once wrote a 3-page letter, intending to send it to a friend who had stopped being friends with her, but she never dared to put it in the mailbox. In the letter, Kai apologized for being jealous, for being silent when someone was hurt. At the end of the letter, Kai wrote, "I wish we could learn to be sad and still be together." That letter, now in a notebook, is like a memory that has never been forgiven, but has been looked back on